I'm Matt Bonta.
I'm Corey Easley.
This episode, we're going to talk about some movies.
Woo!
None of which probably have not seen.
Yeah, well, you usually do that to me anyway.
So, I can't reach the keyboard. But, we've got some videos or something.
Or something. Radio silence.
Well, I mean, look, let's see what do we got here. I'll put on radio silence. I always do these. I mean, I always watch these.
That's just my equation for success.
So.
What are they, like, the top rated YouTube videos?
Well, like, what do you call those, like, triaxolon pixelated thing?
I don't know what you're talking about at this point.
Dakota knew what it was called.
Triaxolon pixelated.
What's it called? Like, hold on a second. This is the worst episode ever.
Not absolute worst ever.
Hours
but
of pixels.
it's not very good either. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck it is you're
This
talking
says seizure
about.
warning.
I can see that happening.
We're not going to watch the seizure warning.
Fucking freak out.
No, what do you call it? Like
Psychedelic shit? Or?
yeah. We can watch an hours of oscillating fan.
Ooh. That turns me on.
10 hours of fails. Alright, try not to get lost in the video. We're not commenting on the video.
I'll try not to watch it too much. It gives people something to watch
Yes.
when they're not looking at
When they're not looking at us. We are live.
Usually.
Alright. So, Corey, what's up? You just got off work. You got off late?
I sat in the parking lot and had a snack.
You could have had a snack here while we're podcasting.
I could have done that and be like, nom, 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 nom.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Don't look at the video screen.
I didn't want to do that.
This guy's
So
fucking dealing with
But
snow
that's kind of
shit.
like my after work thing, though.
Did you sit in the parking lot and you have a snack?
Yeah.
This is the late night sexy sequel
Yeah.
podcast.
Late night sexy sequel podcast.
I've got a few things to talk about. I just saw Spider-Man.
The fresh one,
I guess.
I guess.
The fresh one.
I don't get it.
I don't understand this freshness that you're talking about.
Well, it's the one that just recently came out, right?
Came out today.
That would make it fresh.
It is fresh. I saw Spider-Man today.
And
Are you going to go see it?
I intend to see it at some point.
I didn't love it.
Didn't love it.
No. Doesn't make it a bad movie, though.
Right. Was Robert Downey Jr. the best part?
No, he was not the best part.
Oh. I'm going to tell him you said that.
That's fine. Michael Keaton was the best part of this movie.
Michael Keaton. I didn't even know he was in this movie.
And, you know, it's funny because when you watch the movie and the end credits come up, and there was like 50 different writers on this script. Mm-hmm. There's like 4 sets of pairs on this script.
Wow.
And that tells you something right off the bat. And the trailers tell you a different story than what the movie does.
Interesting. Because usually they've had this thing where a lot of newer movies, they just give you the whole fucking movie in the trailer.
Right, or like Marvel movies where they tell you like, oh, this is an action movie and here's some action scenes.
Right.
And expect more of this in the movie.
I will say that Marvel's better about not giving away the story. But for the most part, they still put like some of the best parts of the movie in the trailers, like everybody else.
Not really. Like, did you see Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
I have not seen 2 yet. It's on the list.
Like, you know, they show you some of the good stuff in the trailer, but those scenes are followed by better stuff.
Well, that's good. That's better direction than we have been going recently.
Well, like Spider-Man, like it's a movie about Peter Parker, like being a teenager.
This is his origin story where he becomes.
No, it's not.
No.
No, it's his
Well, I mean,
origin story where he becomes a superhero.
Right.
Like we've already seen Uncle Ben die twice now. Did he die in the last one?
Oh, fuck. I don't.
I remember Martin Sheen being Uncle Ben with Andrew Garfield.
Okay.
I don't remember if he dies in that movie or not.
Which one?
The lizard one. The last number one.
The last.
So you've got Toby Maguire,
Right, which is the one I'm stuck on.
and I know Uncle Ben died in that one. That movie's like fucking like 15 years old now.
Yeah.
So you can't be stuck on that one when there
No,
was
it
1 and
just-
2 and 3,
It just doesn't.
and then 1 and 2.
Why do we keep doing it? Why do we keep doing Spider-Man again and again?
Right, and that's in this one. All that's already happened,
Okay.
and he's still a teenager. He's like a sophomore, I think.
Okay.
I think they say sophomore in the movie. So you don't do any of that origin stuff.
Okay.
It's more like he's already done that, and he's still trying to come to grips with who he is with these powers.
How to balance
Right.
being who he is and being Spider-Man at the same time.
No,
No.
like how do I use these powers?
Oh, okay.
Even that's kind of not it either. Like, it's just like you saw Civil War, right?
Right.
And there's a quick little scene where Tony Stark is there talking to him, and he's like, where do you get this webbing stuff? He's like, oh, you make it yourself.
Right.
So that establishes that little bit. So we don't go over that in the movie. Although we do see him kind of fucking around with the formula,
Right.
like for a split second.
Because that's more accurate to the original comic series, isn't it?
Yes.
And to the cartoon that I used to watch, The Amazing Spider-Man or whatever. it
Right.
was.
Because the Tobey Maguire one, he has it in his wrists already.
That was like some kind of like chemical, biological.
This is part of his
mutation.
powers that he got.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes it easier being like, how is he smart enough to make some awesome, cool fucking thing in high school? But, no, in this one, it's just more about him like, I have these powers, I kind of fuck around and help old ladies cross the street. But Tony Stark, is like, I want to be an Avenger too. And
Right.
Tony Stark gives me this suit, and he doesn't want me to use it.
So basically, he gave a kid the keys to a Corvette and said, "Don't drive it."
No, he gave him the keys to a Corvette and put a lock on the speed.
Okay.
So he's like, here's a Corvette, but you can only drive 30 miles an hour.
Boring. So he spends the rest of the movie trying to figure out how to go faster.
No, he spends the rest of the movie needing to go faster.
But can't.
Well, his buddy unlocks it for him. But, I mean,
That's not like a high point of the story.
it really isn't. It really just gets in the way. You could have knocked off 10 minutes of that movie.
Just take that bullshit.
Just take
part
that
out.
bullshit out. Because
The rest of
it really did not.
self-supporting.
It was very self-supporting because, like, the suit comes on, and it's like, oh, you've got 500 different web shooter options. And he just wants the one that he uses anyway.
Right.
So they could have cut that out.
It's kind of
All the and like he's got a buddy in it, like the fat best friend,
yeah, right. That's me.
and that kid is so annoying. Like, because he finds out he's Spider-Man like first thing right up front,
Okay.
and he's super annoying about it for the first half of the movie, and then the second half he's useful. So like that's where all these different writers come into play. And, like, all of Michael Keaton's scenes in this movie are amazing. Like, they wrote him all the best stuff.
I like Michael Keaton.
I mean, this is Batman in a Spider-Man movie, and he's playing the Vulture.
Okay.
And, like, he's amazing. Literally, like, he's in a different movie in this movie. Like, it opens with him.
He's better than the movie.
He's totally better than the movie. He's way better than fucking Robert Downey Jr. is. Like, literally, it's like 3 different movies. It's like, here's Peter Parker, here's Vulture, and here's Iron Man. Or Tony Stark.
Right.
Because those scenes play like they're playing in a different movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. Well, and it almost makes sense because they're not. I mean, the Tony Stark thing is kind of an add-on. That's like, hey,
For the people who love the Marvel Universe,
yes,
that's
we introduced
established.
this whole, Tony Stark is kind of taking Peter Parker.
We need some star power.
Yeah, so we're gonna we're gonna show him doing this buddy thing a little bit, and then, but it's not. He's not the movie. The movie's not about him.
No.
And they've tried to make that clear in a lot of things. Up until even Civil War, he was the main point of the movie.
So Iron Man.
I mean,
as far as the conflict of the movie
the
goes,
conflict,
but it's Captain America: Civil War.
The rest of it, but everybody wants it to be Iron Man versus.
I didn't
that's
want
what-
that.
Okay, I say everybody.
No, you're right though.
everybody
You're right.
but
But in my opinion, it's like I don't want fucking Avengers 2.5,
right.
which is exactly what that movie was. I mean, there was an emphasis on Captain America and his plot,
And his angle of the movie.
but there's 50 other superheroes in this movie.
Right.
You're only missing Thor and Hulk, but they put in Black Panther and Ant-Man, so I mean, we're all good.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man.
And they wanted to bring those characters from their little side movies into the greater picture. And I get what they're doing. The whole universe, like movie theory, is cool.
Right. Everyone's
Because
living in the same world.
They've written it relatively well, I think, where everyone can exist in the same, time period and the same planet.
It's got to be so tough though, because
Oh, yeah.
Captain America in #2 is fighting Shield, but no one's joining in to help him fight Shield.
Right, and you have to be like, okay, well, as viewers, we look at it and go, why
Isn't Iron Man hopping in to help?
helping?
Right.
Or where's fucking anyone?
Thor, Hulk.
Yeah, we have one guy versus everybody in this movie, and
I don't even think
where's
Hawkeye's in
everybody
that one. Is Hawkeye in that one?
else?
Winter Soldier. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Scarlet
It's more
Witch.
about contrast
Falcon.
than anything else.
And it's like, well, how do we write a Captain America movie where he's fighting some big thing,
And he
but
gets
he's
to be
not
the star.
like, hey, Tony, I got this crazy guy that I need help fighting.
Right. Well, and I think that's one of the good things about at the end of Civil War, where they kind of show there's a split there. Like, hey,
But
they're gonna push this off to the side.
But in Spider-Man, they talk about like a new equipment for like Captain America,
Okay.
as if Tony Stark is still helping build on Captain America, even though he's taken off.
Right.
Which they also reference in there because there's this thing. I don't want to spoil too much for you, but like the coach, the PE teacher, like they show these Captain America videos, like he's doing the stretches like on a VHS tape,
Right.
and when the tape's done with, he's like, technically he's a war criminal now, I think, but whatever, we're doing these
We're
stretches.
doing this anyway.
So they reference that he's a war criminal, but then also like they're talking about new equipment for Captain America that Iron Man is building or has built.
Right.
So,
Interesting.
and another thing is, like I saw it with an audience. It's the first movie I've seen with an audience in a long time. We saw it at 7:00 at night,
Okay.
and it's the summer.
So it's busy.
It was busy with fucking annoying ass teenagers and man children, like annoying ass young adults.
Right.
It's like a theater full of Ryan Kellys.
Oh God.
No, literally, it was a theater full of Ryan Kellys.
That's not.
Because there's a post credit scene.
Uh-huh.
It has nothing to do with anything. It's like one of those Captain America videos.
Right.
And when it was done, like
Ryan Kelly stood up and made a scene.
stood up and started laughing loud and obnoxiously.
Oh, wow.
Like some guy was just like, ho, 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 ho. Like he saw the funniest fucking thing he's ever seen in his life.
When do you usually go to the movies? If that's the first time you've seen something recently?
First showing in the morning,
Okay.
it would either be like the last showing on a Thursday night
Right.
during a weekday. We're in the summer now. Or first showing Friday morning.
Right.
And there's nobody in there Friday morning.
Everybody still has to go to work.
Everybody still has to go to work or still sleeping like
Right.
teenagers.
And that's what really when I should start going to the movies is like early during the day.
Yeah. You could.
Yeah, I could. I certainly could.
But even then, when we go to see a movie early in the day, we're seeing 3.
Right.
We'll see one at like 10, see another one at like 12:30, 1 o'clock, and another one at like 4. But usually one of those is a Filipino movie, and they're just as bad as the fucking man children, the teenagers. She gets pissed off at them. But there's this one girl, so we're sitting in the back, and there's like a girl like over here in the row in front of us, and off to the side. And she had to be like a teenager or either really young adult. And she is laughing at everything. Except the stuff that the rest of the audience is laughing at.
So she's laughing off cue.
She's way off cue.
Wow.
The one kid, his buddy, these weren't even jokes. He was just talking. He would say something like it would be metered the way he said it. So he'd be like blah 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 blah. But no. She would laugh during the blah blah. He'd pause. Before he even said the second word on the next blah blah, she'd start and then he'd talk some more. You know, she was laughing at
She was
every
probably
fucking thing.
fucking stoned.
Could have been. And like she would clap at some things and she'd be like, "Oh no way."
Jeez.
Yes.
I hate people
The
like
only
that.
it took you out of the movie experience.
That sucks.
Like and it had to have been bullshit because there are times when the audience is enraptured in like the vulture scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And she wasn't laughing or clapping or doing anything.
Right.
So clearly the other times when she was laughing at the non-jokes, it was just bullshit for fucking attention.
Right. What a bitch.
It was really off-putting. And on top of that, there like periodically throughout the movie, some more teenagers would come in, walk all the way to the back, walk all the way across, and go somewhere. And a couple times they would go back the other way.
It's like, sit the fuck down. Watch the goddamn movie.
It's weird.
I get angry
It's
when people do that at the theater. Like,
that's why it's
they're talking
like
or-
prime time to go to a movie is not the prime time to go to a movie.
right. They're either talking or they got their fucking phones out.
Phones isn't that much of a deal, I've noticed. But then again, this is like the first movie that I've seen at like
Right.
7 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
See, we usually go probably prime time too, because we go on the weekend, we take the boy.
Right, you've got a whole different situation
Yeah.
going on.
And that's kind of when it's convenient to go, middle of the day on a
You
Saturday.
don't ever go on like a Tuesday night,
No.
like, cheapo night,
No.
which is another terrible time to go
Probably.
because that's also when it's packed.
Yeah. We.
I don't know. Did I ever talk about this on here? I read an article about the pros and cons of why going to a movie is out and just staying home and watching something is in. Did I ever talk about this?
I don't think we covered that.
This guy he wrote this article, and it's totally substantial. Like he's talking about like he sat down and he's watching a movie, and Keanu Reeves comes in, right? There's not like a big old hullabaloo. He sits down, like, a couple seats down at the end of the row or whatever. And he doesn't go like, "Oh, hey." He's just like, "Oh, that's Keanu Reeves." We're watching the movie. And he talks about how he coughs the entire movie.
Keanu did.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not that it's Keanu Reeves. It could be anybody. There are people who do that. Like, they just come in and they cough the entire movie. People are rustling, people are doing this and doing that, and it's like you're too comfortable, you know? There are other people in the theater with you trying to experience this movie and enjoy it on the big screen. And they're just rude as fuck.
I can see that.
Like, no consideration for others. This isn't your home. You're not on the couch.
Exactly. And I think that it's, like you said, people get too comfortable. It's like when I go to the theater, I try to be considerate of others and the noise that I make and whatever it is that I'm doing. You know, if I don't know, if I have to cough, I'm really careful not to be loud about it.
Right. Well,
So it's just
well, coughing notwithstanding, that was just one of the main
but I mean,
things. Is like
I have been.
this
to
is a guy
movies-
who is in movies, who
Right.
makes movies, and he's coughing through someone's performance, yada yada yada,
Right.
distracting the people around him. He should know better.
Right.
I mean, if you're sick and you want to go see a movie, what are you gonna do? Like, I've had coughing fits before, and I got up and I left.
Right. And that's what I mean. You know, oh, one cough, two cough, whatever, it's over. But if you know you're like going to continue having a problem, remove yourself.
Right. And I brought like
It's fucking rude.
cough drops with me
Yeah.
to avoid these coughing fits that I know are gonna happen.
Right. Yeah, we usually go to the drive-in, which
I haven't been to the drive-in in Coon's age, over 10 years.
it's still fun. And
I think Wedding Crashers.
wow,
Literally, no, that was the last time I went to a drive-in.
wow. We go not because it's cheap or it's better or anything like that. It's
Is it still?
It's a double feature.
Is it still going?
Yeah, yeah. We went a couple weeks ago. We went for Father's Day weekend.
And you saw?
We saw Pirates and Cars 3.
Didn't that just come out?
Well, they show new movies there.
No, I mean, like, okay. I mean, I'm not up on the children's movies because that's
Cars-
another thing. It's
Cars
impossible to go to
3.
children's movies.
Yes, it is.
Cars 3 came out for Father's Day weekend,
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Yes, it did.
That was the big movie.
That was the thing,
Last week was Despicable Me 3.
right? Cars 3, okay. Super let down on the storyline.
And see, that's the thing also about, like, Spider-Man. Is it was definitely made for the teen audience.
Right.
Except for the Michael Keaton Vulture scenes. He was amazing. In fact, there's a scene in the movie that the audience went nuts in a good way.
Right.
And that's the thing that I love about a movie. If you're in the movie with the right audience, you can feel their reaction when they laugh, when they're scared, when they're, startled or surprised.
When it's natural.
When it's natural.
And when everybody's on the same page.
Everybody's on
Or
the same
at least
page.
Most people are on the same
Right.
page.
And like that's how you know Michael Keaton. I don't think he won the Academy Award for Birdman, but like he was really good in Birdman. Birdman was fantastic. The movie won Best Picture of the Year, but he was acting in that movie, and you can see him acting a role. In this, you can see him fucking just kind of having fun with the role, and not like in fucking you saw Batman, I'm assuming. Where he's fucking like, he's hitting statues and it's like, come on, let's get nuts. You want to get nuts? Like, way out of character. And this, he's Michael Keaton in a part and just kind of like, oh, well, I'm the bad guy, whatever. And he's not like going nuts.
Going nuts.
But he's in the role and like he's good. He's the best part of that fucking movie.
Becomes natural.
Supernatural. Like you, not like Michael Keaton is Vulture, but he is like that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Totally believable. In fact, I was rooting for him in the movie.
Well, and here's the thing about...
Like, I wasn't like rooting for him because, oh, Michael Keaton. I was literally rooting for him because I could give a shit less about the Spider-Man character. He's a whiny teenager, which I've never liked about Spider-Man.
Right.
Which is what's endearing about Spider-Man is his qualities as being a regular guy dealing with regular issues and trying to be a superhero on top of that.
Right.
But literally, I was rooting for Vulture in this fucking movie because I'm him. You're him. He's a working guy that got
You're
shit
him.
on. You're him. He's a working guy that got shit on by the man, and he even has a speech in the movie like this.
Right.
And I'm totally on his fucking side. I did not want to see him lose in this movie.
Well, and that's the thing. Bad guys, so to speak, in movies and stories, they're not just bad guys.
Hold on a second. What's up, Jessica? Tell me, you got a question? Go on.
Yeah, I didn't see the question either because we weren't looking at that.
She'll get it in 10 seconds. Go ahead.
Anyway.
Bad guys in movies.
You know, yes, they're going to be the antagonist. They're going to be the bad guy. But...
No.
No. You listen to me for a
I'm
second.
listening to you.
If you put yourself in the bad guy's shoes, and I'm not going to say always, but normally you don't set out to just be a terrible person. You're pissed off about something. You have a reason. You have a fight. You have a stake in something.
I'm potting with Corey.
And that makes you an asshole depending on how you go about it.
Good. This one's actually interesting. All right.
You know, every
Well, they say like the bad guys are the good guys in that side of the story.
absolutely. Every man's terrorist is somebody else's freedom fighter.
What was that from?
And I don't remember.
Iron Man 3?
I've heard it a million different times.
You heard it at home this morning.
I say it all the time.
You walk around telling your son.
Well, and I like to play devil's advocate, and you know that. And I will tell you, not that I agree with anybody's, terrorism or fanaticism about anything.
What is that from, dude?
That
So
line?
familiar. That line's so familiar.
We'll have to look it up on the interwebs.
Go on, keep talking.
But if you think about, take it to the Middle East. Yes, they're assholes what they're doing. They're killing innocent people, so to speak. They're, they have a bad view on the way things should be, in our opinion. But they're fighting for what they think is right. And we do the same thing. And we kill lots of civilians too. So, who's worse? Who's the fucking bad guy? You know what I mean?
Right.
So I like to look at bad guys from that angle, where they're not just a bad, evil person. And there are bad guys who are just fucked up and evil, backwards-ass bad guys. But that doesn't always have to be a case, and like you were talking about Michael Keaton, I think that sometimes that is the case.
No, but literally, he's not crazy in any like.
That's what I'm saying. He's not necessarily a bad guy.
Well, like he's stealing some shit, and he's making some weapons, and he's stealing some weapons. It's so like they go through that so quickly in the movie.
You miss a lot of it.
You miss a lot of it, and it's just like Spider-Man. Why are you getting in this guy's way? He's just trying to earn an honest living. But he's really good in it, and he's really cool. Like the cartoon, I don't know if you remember Vulture. It was like an old man, and he kind of had like a fur kind of like wraparound,
Okay.
like how a vulture will have like
like an ascot neck thing.
In the movie, they give him like an aviator's jacket that's kind of furry up here, and it looks fucking cool. And his suit that he has looks fucking cool too.
Right on.
It's like legitimate wings, and it's got like these big old fan blades that he can kind of hover and do shit with, and he's got like foot claws. Like,
Sweet.
literally one of the coolest fucking things I've seen. But you have to get past all that teenager bullshit that's in the movie.
Right.
And it's just, it's weird the setups that they put in this. It's kind of like a, like not your granddaddy's Spider-Man.
This is not your grandpa's Spider-Man.
It's the fucking millennial Spider-Man.
And that's kind of sucks because, that shit is.
But I bet those teenagers eat the shit up out of it. But like I said, it's like 3 different movies, and like I said, there's like 4 different pairs of writers on this movie.
And that's a trip. I can't imagine working with them.
So like, it's not a matter of that many people. It's like these 2 people wrote a script.
Right.
It's okay. Give it to these 2 people. Do another pass on it. Oh, they did good vulture scenes, but we need good teenager scenes too. Give it to these 2 other guys to do a pass on it. Give it to these 2 other guys to do a pass on it.
I see.
So it's not like you have 10 people in a room trying to write a movie. You've got 2 people that wrote a script. They didn't really like it. Give it to another 2 people.
Gotcha.
So it's like 5 different puzzle pieces, 5 different puzzles with all mixed match pieces.
Right.
So, that is what it is. But I mean, I would pay just to see the fucking Michael Keaton scenes,
Just
dude.
the Michael Keaton part.
He's fucking phenomenal. This fucking movie.
They should have given Vulture his own movie.
I thought they were at one point, long before this though.
Sure.
I know they were talking about giving Magneto his own movie.
I would be okay with that.
I think that's long gone though.
But it's kind of overdone at this point.
What, X-Men? Or
No.
Magneto?
With all the time hopping back and forth, and they've kind
I don't think they're gonna do another one. I think Logan
that was
killed the idea of doing another one.
I think that was supposed to be the idea of it. It's like,
Well, no, because at the end of Days of Future Past, they've got the
kid-
Mr. Sinister stuff. And
That's
the
right.
next movie was going to be Mr. Sinister. In fact, Mr. Sinister was supposed to be in Logan,
okay.
I thought. But he's not. Did you see Logan?
I did.
Okay.
I remember that last little piece where they have like the DNA samples or whatever, the blood.
No, that's Days of Future, or that's Apocalypse. I'm talking about Logan, the last Wolverine movie.
Right. I'm trying to remember what
Old
happened.
man Logan,
Right. He dies.
full of fucks and blood and shit.
Right. He got fucked up at the end of that movie.
But, Mr. Sinister did not end up in that movie, and I think Logan may have fucked up the idea of continuing on with X-Men movies. So if they do another X-Men movie, it'll probably be another reboot.
See, I think it would be stupid to reboot it again.
And on top of that, they're doing like all kinds of different X-Men TV shows.
That's true too.
So
I want the Punisher back.
from Daredevil or Tom Jane,
I want Thomas Jane.
you'll never see that. You'll get John Bernthal, Punisher.
Yeah, fuck him.
Did you see him in Daredevil?
No, I have not.
Well,
seen
maybe you should.
it. Maybe I should.
Is this too loud
I can turn mine up and down, so it's fine.
on that thing?
Yeah.
Well, maybe you should watch Daredevil season 2, where he's fantastic.
Maybe I should check that out.
Did you see Daredevil season 1?
No. I haven't gotten involved in any of the
The Marvel
Netflix,
series.
Marvel TV series. No, for no other reason than I haven't dedicated my time to it yet.
Well, Daredevil season 1 and 2 are awesome. Jessica Jones, I mean, it's literally in that order, best to worst.
Jessica Jones, she only got
One season.
one season. Okay.
And then Luke Cage got a season. And then Iron Fist, which is terrible.
I heard that. From
It's
several
terrible.
people that it was no good.
There's no plot. There's no reason for them to be doing anything.
Right.
And then Defenders is coming out, I think, next month. Where it's going to have all 4 of them.
Gotcha.
Possibly having no real goal because the trailers don't look like they got anything going on. But like, oh, we're all together.
We're all in the same place and we're gonna do the same
We're
stuff.
such an odd
together.
group of people.
How peculiar.
He's blind, she's sassy, he's black.
This guy's black.
And then there's a white dude. So
plus one white guy.
I mean, it is what it is. All right, so anything else to cap off Spider-Man? Are you gonna go see it now?
I think I need to see it. In fact, I like I said, I haven't seen the other two.
You didn't see the last 2 they made?
I did not.
I mean, this has nothing to do with it.
I know
but
that, but I haven't seen those either, which I think is kind of entertaining.
One thing I caught while watching the movie, if you remember in Captain America 1, when he rescues the Howling Commandos,
Okay.
there's an Asian dude in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be like it's the same actor. He plays the principal at the high school.
Okay.
But he's got to be like that dude's grandson or something. Because the one scene he's got, like, there's a picture of a military guy of him.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, he doesn't do any freezing like Captain America does, so it's got to be like his grandson. I almost didn't catch it. It's so quick.
Interesting.
I think there's a lot of
Easter egg.
Easter eggs in this one that I saw and thought, like, I bet that's an Easter egg, but I didn't necessarily know the reference.
And I like I go through and I cheat. I watch YouTube videos that have people that review the movies and they like point out stuff. And a lot of stuff I get anyway because I'm pretty intuitive.
Right,
with movies.
right. I love those YouTube videos.
But I like to watch them because it's like, okay, did I miss anything? And one that I missed, it was from the Marvel Universe, was, I forget which one it was, but they were questioning this guy from Hydra, and he was like, well, what exactly are you guys keeping track of? And he said, people that are dangerous to our cause.
Oh yeah, that's Doctor Strange.
And they mentioned Doctor Strange, and I had seen that movie several times and totally missed that line because you're not looking for it.
Right.
And that was way before
Doctor
out.
Strange. Yeah.
I was even thinking about coming out.
Are you giving a thumbs up?
You turned the volume way down.
You didn't even notice.
I did notice. I was just dealing with it.
Okay. You fucking dickhead.
And I was trying to do like the radio thing where it's like, turn the volume.
Pump up the volume.
Silence.
Yeah, but we already killed that fourth wall in Magic when we were trying to find a video to show to the Facebook Livers.
It happens.
Like, these are going to be weird if anyone goes back and listens to them, like your son in another 15 years.
They wouldn't even have this shit in another 15 years.
No, but I have the audio copies.
Oh, okay.
So, like, I can give you a fucking SD card that'll have all your episodes on it.
Gotcha. But
So, in 15 years, when your son, possibly another couple children,
you never know.
they can be like, Dad, why are you a douchebag?
Why are you so douchey?
Why do you like Transformers so much?
Why are you so fiduciary?
Fiduciary. He's like, I'm never going to listen to this. I don't care.
He's like, yeah,
Dad,
whatever.
I don't get it.
You're not my real dad.
You're not that guy on the podcast. How come you're not cool anymore?
Everybody gets old.
Is that everything for Spider-Man?
I think that covers Spider-Man.
I saw Baby Driver as well.
I've heard that is like fucking excellent.
Fantastic. 100%. Perfect.
Nice.
Doesn't mean you can't find complaints about it.
You can pick anything apart if you want to.
But otherwise, it's real good. It's an easy movie to like a lot.
That's good. I'm glad to see.
But he's a good writer-director.
Right.
Edgar Wright.
Okay.
Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, Scott Pilgrim, which is not perfect. But this movie is perfect.
Is it as heavy on the automotive action as I hope it is?
Where fucking Fast and the Furious is all CG driving, this movie is legit driving.
Nice.
And it's not a car movie.
Right.
I think there's...
Like, that's kind of a little...
Like, the beginning of the movie is a car chase.
Right.
And it's amazing. Like, it's really, really good. Like, it's legit driving, not like fucking driving off a building into another building.
No, just like how you would actually drive a car if you were awesome.
Right. And then I think there's maybe... it's a perfect pacing of everything.
There's a good balance, good mix of everything going on. You don't get too much in one direction or the other.
Right.
That's good. I've been excited to see it since I saw the trailer the first time. So.
And it's perfect.
Nice.
And what's great about it is there are characters in there that are unpredictable. Like, you know how you can watch a movie and be like, oh, this is that guy, this is that guy.
Yeah,
I know exactly what they're going to do.
He's going to do this, and that guy's going to do this.
Right. There are characters in it that you don't necessarily know what they're going to do.
So it's a little bit more natural, a little bit more realistic, because people are not predictable,
right.
Generally. Like,
right.
I mean, especially in high stress situations, and
like this guy could go in and kill like the main character.
Right.
He doesn't, but like it could happen, and it wouldn't fuck up the movie. So it's like this guy is in a movie without knowing that he's in a movie.
See, I think that's when that looks the best, is when it looks and feels real.
Right. When this guy fucking blows people away, it's like, oh shit, I didn't know he was going to do that. But this character doesn't give a fuck, and he's that guy that would do that.
Right.
I'm not saying who, but I mean, you'll know who when you see it.
I'm sure.
And then anything to cap off that conversation?
No, I need to see that one. That one's. I've been excited for that one since the first time I saw the trailer. Like I said.
And then Serendipity, which
What
have you
brought
seen
that
it?
I think I may have seen it a long time ago.
Because I just watched it, and there are things to talk about this movie, which would have been nice if you watched it, but you don't have to have watched it. But if anyone out there has seen Serendipity, we're going to talk about Serendipity for a second.
John Cusack.
John Cusack and Kate Beckinsale.
Kate Beckinsale.
Did you watch the trailer, at least?
I didn't have time.
Okay. You didn't have time to
I
do
took a
anything.
nap.
So this movie is about a guy and a girl. Okay.
Right.
Typical mid to late 90s into the mid 2000s
Okay.
rom-com. Completely typical. Like, it's like a Filipino rom-com now. So fucking John Cusack and Kate Beckinsale, they have the meet cute. The meet cute was the thing in the mid 90s to the mid 2000s. He's got a girlfriend. She's got a boyfriend. Okay. They're arguing over a pair of gloves, but like not arguing. They're kind of having like this kind of flirtatious back and forth. Like, oh, you take blah 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 blah, and then they end up going and getting some coffee. Nobody does that.
Right.
It's Christmas. If you're in a department store and you and somebody else grab for the last one of the same thing, someone's getting shot.
In Reno, anyway. That's how that shit goes down. Or you get trampled.
And it doesn't have like, oh, no, you take it. And if it does, whoever takes it, you know.
And then it's game over. You don't go get fucking coffee
Right.
afterward.
Or you're like, no, fuck you, I'm keeping this. You go find your own fucking thing. Well, fine, fuck you. Right?
Right.
And that's the other end of that conversation. Nobody ever, even if it weren't Christmas and tensions weren't already high, nobody goes and has coffee with a complete stranger unless they're not in relationships already. If they're two single people, maybe.
It could happen.
But these two people are already in relationships. They're
I'm not going to say
strangers.
that never happens.
Are you saying it does?
I'm not going to say that people who are in relationships.
Okay, no,
don't have
but no,
coffee with
okay,
other people.
no, okay, right.
But the strangers part makes it a little tougher to believe.
But there's nothing going on to where we think like these two people are in unhappy relationships or that they're on the verge of cheating or something like that.
Right. So
This
just
situation
kind of
would not
obscure.
happen.
It's obscure.
It's just you don't have that information.
Right.
But it doesn't seem realistic. And so, and like they don't even know each other's names. They go and they have coffee without telling each other's names, without introducing themselves to each other.
Yeah, anymore you would think, God, this guy's probably a serial killer.
They
Like, he's going to murder and rape.
totally honestly could be. Totally honestly could be. Because she doesn't fucking know. Because he's trying to get her number. He's desperately trying to get her number.
Right.
And so they go their separate ways. And then they end up going back to the restaurant because, like, she left the gloves and he left his scarf.
Okay.
So it's like, oh, it's fate. And she's all about fate and destiny and shit.
Right.
So from that point, they go ice skating. And
So if ever it weren't realistic before, it is certainly unrealistic now.
right. And so they split up again. Years go by. 7 years, I think. 5 to 7 years. Don't watch that.
I like it when people face plant.
Fucking hit the fucking balloon.
Boom! Face down.
So like 7 years later,
Right.
he's days away from getting married. She is right around the corner from getting married. She's in San Francisco. He's in New York.
Okay.
And you find out that basically the two of them have been spending the last 5 to 7 years.
Thinking about each other.
Well, she wrote her name in a book.
Mm-hmm.
Her name and number in a book. And she's like, I'm going to go sell this to a used bookstore tomorrow. And if you ever find it again, you'll have my name and my number. And he writes his name and number on a $5 bill. So she's constantly looking at $5 bills for the 5 to 7 years. He's looking for books. This one book, this one edition for 5 to 7 years. They're both in relationships, spending years trying to find each other, essentially.
Right.
And they do find each other. And they end both of their, relationships on the eve of getting married without having found each other. But they do find each other, right after that.
Shortly after.
Super shortly after. You would think they would have ended those relationships
Years prior.
And kind of just fucked around until maybe they did wind up with each other. Because otherwise they were leading these really fucked up relationships.
Yeah, that just...
it's a cutesy rom-com and sure they get together. But you look deep down and the psychological aspects of the problems that these people are putting on the relationships and the other individual, super selfish.
Pretty fucked up. And I have a hard time watching shit like that because I'm a jealous person. So when I see movies where it's the chick's gonna cheat on the dude or whatever.
They never cheat. They never cheat.
You know what I mean, though.
Right, right.
Where this
it's
situation's
basically cheating.
going on, they're mentally cheating.
Right. It's not like it's an open thing.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm looking at this book. There's a number in it. You better hope that I never find it because we're done. And the other person's like, oh, no, that's fine. I think we're good. You're never gonna find it.
Right. He finds the book.
Oh yeah. Well, no. His fiancée gives it to him as a wedding gift because she's been seeing him for the last 5 to 7 years looking for this book, looking at a book.
Right.
And she's like, oh, I thought you had it, but we didn't have it, but I've seen you look at this book every time we go by a bookstore. And she gives him the one book that happens to have her name and number in it.
How convenient. So, yeah. Shit like that bothers me, though.
That's the name of the movie, Serendipity. Everything is kind of serendipitous.
It's oh, look at it. It just happened. Nobody...
it's well written the way they kind of fold these things into the narrative.
Right.
But the deeper seated issues of...
Well, and if you look at anything like that psychologically and look at the realistic...
Some of these rom-coms are they're in a relationship, they're getting married, and somebody from the outside at the last minute comes in and sweeps them off their feet. These two people are spending years in relationships.
Yeah.
Almost a decade's worth.
Which is insanity.
They should have cut it off right away.
Right.
Or either not been looking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had a little fun with a person and they didn't cheat, they didn't kiss or anything like that. Just had a, interesting day with somebody.
Right.
And then moved on.
But they didn't move on.
They didn't move on. And
that's the weird part.
What is the quote? The difference between your soulmate and a stalker or something like that is the other person's attitude towards them or something like that. Something like that.
Okay.
Where it's this guy's desperately trying to get this girl's number, is constantly hounding her and everything he else can to get a date. This person's flattered about it and they eventually go out and they have a great thing.
Right.
This person is not flattered for it on the other side of the coin.
It makes the other guy a stalker.
Right.
That makes perfect sense. Everything is perception.
Absolutely.
That was it?
I think that's it.
Serendipity was fucked up.
It's fucked up when you dig deep.
Yeah, if you start peeling it apart
But this one is, like I said, it's not like the other ones where this person comes in...
crashes
the party. Relationship.
Yeah.
And turns people's worlds upside down.
Right.
This, they had years.
Well, they've been secretly battling.
Carrying on.
Yeah.
Some kind of mental fucking thing.
I've known people that have done something very similar to
Really?
That, where they're in a relationship, very serious, even been married, and there's just one person that they're not with, they haven't seen in a long time, but they're like secretly in love with this person.
Sure, sure. And you know, I know someone that's not like secretly in love with somebody else, but someone that's like been in a relationship,
Right.
but like long enough to make a commitment that goes beyond just boyfriend and girlfriend.
Sure.
At least moving on to like moving in with somebody,
Right.
moving towards a long-term final commitment, but hasn't just because.
Right.
Just because they want to have their regular and their side.
Yeah, I don't put that shit past people because people are, the fire jump rope is weird.
Let's do it.
Sorry. Yeah, let's do the fire jump rope. That sounds like a good time.
Well, if you know how to fucking jump rope and not be a jackass.
I do, actually.
Anyways, Serendipity, Baby Driver, and Spider-Man Homecoming. That's your triple feature. Oh, man.
I saw
Mutant Chronicles.
Mutant Chronicles.
Again.
That wasn't a bad movie, though. Actually, I mean, it was.
It won't
weird.
make anybody's top 100. It won't make anybody's top 1,000.
No, probably. I wouldn't say 1,000.
No, it's not going to make any kind of top 1,000. I've seen thousands of movies.
That's not in your top.
It's not in my
1,000.
top 1,000.
Wow. I'd have a hard time ordering a list like that.
It's really tough.
I'm sure.
It's time consuming. It's easy to do it. Like I used to do it with my DVDs because you can have them there and you can kind of compare them side to side and look at them. But to sit there and think about all the movies you've seen and not forget an awesome movie, it's really tough.
See, and I have to bring up like a list.
You need to look at it and then kind of order it.
And then you always find something else that you saw that kind of makes a list, and you have to reshuffle.
So where does that go? God.
That's why I have a hard time picking out like I own a bunch of DVDs, like you do, and I have
Picking
a
out one
hard
to
time
watch.
picking something to watch. That is the hardest thing in the planet.
Spend
for
an
me.
hour looking for a movie and then end up not watching anything.
Exactly. That's why I usually just stick with Netflix anymore. Like I'll turn on Netflix.
Even then, Netflix, 10 minutes.
Same kind of thing.
Next movie, 10 minutes. Next movie, 10 minutes.
But it's because, and you probably do the same thing. You pick up, whether you keep your DVDs in binders or in the cases or whatever.
DVDs are in binders. Blu-rays are alphabetical in the cases.
Okay. See, and I always had my stuff split up in the cases by, kind of like by genre, almost.
I try to do that, but then it's like, is this one more sci-fi? Is
I
it more
know.
horror? Is it
I
more
hate-
action? Is
I
it
hate
more
that.
drama? Is it more comedy?
The wife and I were having the same conversation. It's like you're looking at something, you're like, okay, well, this is more action.
Horror is the easiest. Is this movie scary?
Right.
Is it trying to be scary? Yes.
Because anything that's trying to be scary, even if it has a bunch of action stuff in it, still still a horror movie. But then you get one of those gray areas with action movies and then sci-fi and then sci-fi action and then
Well, no.
sci-fi-
So okay.
yeah.
If it's an action movie but it's sci-fi 100%. Is it in space? Are there aliens? Does it take place in the future?
Okay.
Is there some kind of scientific,
Aspect to the story.
but not in like a modern real world kind of way, but in like a Hulk kind of way?
Oh, okay.
That's 100% sci-fi. Okay, so sci-fi and horror, but when it gets to be a drama that's like super funny, am I laughing more at this? Maybe, but it's definitely a drama.
Right.
Now this comedy, like, is it more action, like Beverly Hills Cop? I mean,
It's like an action comedy.
right. So
Does it have
the non like genre picks, as they call it, like a horror movie is a genre movie, sci-fi is a genre movie, but drama, action, comedy, they are all on that line, depending upon which movie it is.
and it's hard to. I was organizing my DVDs.
You just get
out of the
frustrated, you
cabinet.
throw them away.
I was taking them out of the cabinet, putting them in a binder, and I was trying to decide how I was going to order them in the binder and what movies could go together, and I gave up.
Animated is easy too.
Yeah.
Is it animated? Yes. Whether or not it's an adult film, or a
Right.
children's film. It's definitely animated.
So, speaking of animated films,
Cars 3.
I just
I didn't even see 2. I
I-
heard 2 was horrible.
it wasn't fantastic.
I heard it was horrible.
It wasn't horrible. I mean, it's a kids movie.
Yeah, but Cars 1 set a bar.
Right. And they're never going to touch that again. With 3,
But like
My-
Toy Story, I think aren't those like consistent, if not better?
I think they were relatively consistent.
Like Toy Story is
They were just
regular.
consistently good.
3 was kind of amazing. 3 was the Brave Little Toaster. Have you seen the Brave Little Toaster?
Yes.
Where like the guy gets older, goes off to college, doesn't
Right.
want his stuff anymore. They go looking for him. That's what Toy Story 3 is.
Basically, yeah, it's the homecoming story. Or at least-
Anyways, Cars 2 sucked.
Yeah, and Cars 2 had
Michael Caine.
a big...
Was it it's a spy movie?
Yeah, that's the one that's a spy movie. That's 2.
And so Cars 3
so
was
3 goes back to primarily
Racing.
more about racing. But my
what's the guy's
my
name?
hope for the movie, Lightning McQueen.
No, I know him. His opposite in that movie.
Oh, I don't remember the name of the.
The bad guy car, is he a bad guy or is he just
He's an opponent.
he's a new younger
Yeah, he's the new high tech speed model, whatever. But I mean, they're playing on this notion that the old cars they're getting old, they're getting tired.
rotating him out.
They're not as fast anymore as they used to be. And we have these new cars that are going to be faster and all this shit.
But we overcome those things and we're all equal and good. That must have been the big
My hope for that movie was that they were going to explain
why they talk.
what happened.
You're like drunk and high watching this movie. We're finally gonna get to the deep roots of why these guys
Why are
have
the
mouths and
cars
eyes.
talking?
I've been
Do
waiting
they-
for 2 movies.
Do they eat? Are they gonna poop or something? I don't know. But
No, hold on. The key to this movie is they did not make it for you.
they didn't. But
Your son now, he's like,
Yes.
oh my god,
it is
they
funny.
poop and they eat.
He didn't think that was the best movie. Like,
Oh, really? He
he's
was
kinda
like-
he was like,
The deep-seated issues in this movie, Dad.
he could probably talk to you like that. But my hope was that
They
were
did
gonna
not explain why they talk.
explain what happened to Doc Hudson.
That's that Paul Newman's character in the first movie. Paul Newman died.
Yeah, I know. And that's fine. But they have to have a reason for it in the movie universe. Because there are clearly, the problem I have with this,
George Carlin is also, he died
There-
too.
are cars in the movie that are older than the car that died. So what happened to the car?
Did you?
You know what I'm
What
saying?
are you high? You must have been high.
I was not high. I'm just saying that it would have been nice.
You're like, I want them to bring Paul
have
Newman
a-
back.
to have a reason. They didn't need to bring him back. They just have to give him a reason to be dead.
Okay, Finding Nemo. Did you see Finding Dory?
I'm not.
Well, let me ask you this: are there any unsolved questions in Finding Nemo that you were wondering about? What happened to those other fishies that he escaped from? They don't talk about them in Finding Dory.
Fair enough.
But if you were wondering why Dory is who she is and where she came from, they totally answer those questions.
And like you said,
She was
it's not-
molested as a giant fish.
and that's why she has like PTSD. She can't remember anything. She just like washes everything out every 5
Absolutely.
10 seconds. Yeah.
That's good.
So, and like you said,
The darker side of
these
Pixar.
movies are not written for us, so they're not going to answer the big.
Which is why
existential-
Spider-Man did not appeal to me. And there are a bunch of other movies too. Did you watch Moonrise Kingdom?
No.
That movie did not appeal to me when I saw it either. Like, everybody loves that movie.
Okay.
But it's a movie about kids. And I don't have kids. And I'm not a kid anymore. I'm at like the prime adult age for watching adult movies.
Right.
So it didn't appeal to me, regardless of quality.
Sure. And I find that's the case. I mean, I enjoy kids' movies.
What was the other
because-
movie you watched?
What was Pirates of the Caribbean?
Pirates of the Caribbean. Terrible.
Not a great movie.
Terrible.
Not a great movie at all.
Disney, you dropped the ball this year.
Yeah, they're. Sorry about that. Still waiting for.
Incredibles 2.
Still waiting for Star Wars Land to open up, though. It's about the only thing they're going to get done right this year.
I wonder how it's looking.
Last time I looked, they've got some pretty cool structure.
I mean, we were there at the same time,
Yeah, within about a week of each other, so.
and they were just beginning.
Yeah, I mean, they had some stuff put up, some concrete poured, but. That was ridiculous.
Whoa.
I'm sorry.
There was a car trying to make a left turn or something. It kept hitting the...
Yeah. So. I don't know. The kids' movies they're kind of.
But your kid, like, he was like,
they're
Dad,
tough.
let's just not watch Cars 3.
Yeah, he was like, "Can we just fuck off and go home
Let's
now?"
go watch Pulp Fiction.
Right?
Let's go watch Street Toughs.
It just wasn't exciting for him. I don't think. Like he was over it. Like
He was like, Dad, let's go watch some Herzog films.
right. Let's go watch something decent. But
Fitzcarraldo. Nosferatu.
I find that I read somebody's comment online that it was like, this movie is a waste of time.
Cars 3?
Yeah,
Street
It
Toughs.
it was pointless to make the movie Cars 3 because what are you gonna do that hasn't been done already? Basically all they did was try to remake the first movie.
Really?
In like kind of a weird.
Well, no, hold
reverse
on.
or
Hold
whatever.
on. Let's talk about this. Cars 1 is about a race car.
Yes,
Like the best race car. And...
it's like about NASCAR. It's about the
Right. Well, hold
piston
on
cup.
now.
Yeah.
These cars talk, sir. There's something else going
Are
on.
you patronizing me? You son of a bitch.
Well, no, like, sure, they're cars, but there's themes that they attribute to cars for kids.
Sure.
So I don't remember, like, he was spoiled, right? He was super spoiled, super sheltered.
He was just snotty. He was a race car, so he doesn't drive on the street. He doesn't have headlights.
Right, they haul him in a trailer.
Yeah, and
From race to race.
He's used to being like a superstar. He's
Now
better than everybody else.
He gets stranded in the desert.
He gets lost.
He gets lost because, like, the trailer unhooks
He
or
comes out of the trailer by accident.
like
He
he's
gets-
sleeping or something.
Yeah. He gets lost, and then he ends
He's in
up
Hickville
in Hickville.
with Toe Mater.
Tomater.
And then he learns to overcome his selfishness and greediness and snobbiness and
Yeah,
becomes a
kinda-
better person by the end
Sure.
because of this tight-knit community of hippies and old people
Right.
and rednecks.
And rednecks.
Now, Cars 2,
It was kind of about him overcoming being stuck up and snobby.
is Cars 2 the same thing?
Yeah, just in a different way. He learns the same lesson
From Michael Caine.
over
James
again.
Bond car. Is it an Aston Martin?
I think it's supposed to be like an early Aston Martin.
Okay, and so then Cars 3, so a
He's-
new cooler car comes and knocks him
Cooler
off his
cars-
pedestal.
Yeah, cooler cars come in. He gets in a big wreck, whatever.
Oh, he gets in a wreck on the track.
Yeah, and it's
They put him out the
and
pasture?
It looks like he's done racing, but it's all about him
They give him a new
trying
chassis,
to make a comeback from this, being down.
and he does.
Yes, to an
Or
extent.
is it Rocky 1 where he loses?
It's-
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, it's one of those things where he grows.
But everybody wins.
He grows throughout the movie, and
Well, what is about the bad guy? Does he grow also?
I think he finds out that you can't just be a dick to people. And
Or does
get
he
away
put a
with it all
gun
the
to
time.
his mouth?
Yeah,
and blows
he
the back of it?
washes the hood out with buckshot.
No, he puts sugar in his gas tank and drives
Right.
around. Lets the oil run through.
Lets the oil run down. Make sugar dumplings.
He puts diesel in his non-diesel tank. What would
It's
happen?
actually diesel and a non-diesel. It just doesn't run.
You gotta siphon it out of there.
Smoke like a motherfucker. Now, gasoline in a diesel motor, that's cool.
Explain.
So
Radio silence.
Diesel fuel goes.
We'll leave you on that note. Thanks for listening.
Diesel fuel explodes under compression,
Okay.
whereas gasoline explodes because of a spark.
Sure.
So
So you're saying a diesel car
Gasoline.
doesn't have spark plugs?
it does not.
Okay.
So if you put gasoline in a diesel motor, the diesel motor is going to squeeze the gasoline well past the point where it's going to combust spontaneously from just being under pressure. That's
Radio silence.
You're a cock sucker. You're gonna shut the fuck up.
You're like falling asleep over here.
And you always fucking. You know what? I'm not doing the fucking radio with you anymore because you're not a fucking radio person anymore. You've never been good at this. You've never been good at this. You don't fucking spot nobody. You don't back nobody up.
Who's backing who up?
You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't.
You're not a good partner.
Okay, tell me about compressing gas.
It doesn't even fucking matter.
No, I want to know.
No, if you squeeze gasoline too hard, it will explode before diesel would. So it's going to make the explosive power part of a motor before it's supposed to. And it gets extra hot and it will fucking melt pistons and break shit
In the engine.
in the engine if you put gasoline in a diesel motor.
So, like, you lift the hood, you turn the car on.
Mm-hmm.
Do you need to pump the gas, or can you just let it run?
You can just let it run.
And you can watch the motor.
I'm not
Can
sure
you
what
watch, like if you do that, you can watch the motor do something? Like it'll melt?
Probably not. It would probably just run really poorly. Like you could hear it running poorly. And I'm not sure that you could see it melting because the parts in the motor are aluminum that are going to
It explodes.
But, I mean, the gasoline explodes. But that's what diesel fuel does too. It happens inside the motor where the power happens.
So you never actually get to see.
I mean, I'm not saying nothing could. You might not see anything, but I'm saying it's probably not likely. It'll probably quit running long before you see any kind of outward damage.
And diesel and a gasoline engine won't turn on?
It might run if there's enough gasoline mixed with it, but it's not going to run well.
What about like a dry, clean, empty gas tank you put in diesel?
It'll probably never start.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Ruined forever?
For a long time.
Ooh.
Needs to be cleaned well. But regardless of that fact, you're still a cocksucker.
No.
You are.
No. What else do we got to talk about? What else is on the docket for today?
On the docket.
4th of July.
4th of July. Everything in Reno's on fire.
Winnemucca. Right?
Winnemucca. This is like Winnemucca Ranch Road or some bullshit, but it's mostly like out towards Fernley, Fallon area,
Well, I mean, it's the summertime.
right? No, we had a wet winter. Everything's nice and growing
Moist.
and dry. Well, it's moist and then it grows really well and then it dries out and then it lights on fire. Because everybody has kind of a misconception about us having a wet winter and then
Well, I
not
mean,
having a good
the
fire
pond
season.
still has water if that helps.
Right? Our dry lake out by the house is like plumb full.
This, that's not Silver Lake.
No.
What is that lake called?
Which one?
The one out by you.
I think it's.
Like, there's water
I
there,
think
right?
It's called White Lake. Or
Is there
some
water
shit.
there?
Yeah.
I remember coming back from my last trip and being like, there's water there.
Yeah, it is like plumb full.
Like, what are the people who like to go out there and sand surf or whatever they do?
They
Windsurf.
They are fucked at this juncture.
They
have
can
to go
just regular surf,
they have
right?
to go find something else to do.
People go out there and fly their drones too, don't they?
I've seen that. I'm gonna guess that they probably.
Or not doing that.
Or there's probably about, on average, 3+ feet of water across the whole thing. Maybe even deeper at some places. But it's pretty impressive to see how much water's in there.
Does this have anything to do with global warming?
Oh yeah,
Are you sure?
pretty sure. Global warming's totally real.
I didn't say it was fake, okay?
Neither did I.
Don't look at me like I'm Donald Trump.
Okay, I know you voted for him.
You're right, no. Who did I vote for? Gary Johnson.
Yeah, you voted third party. Which I don't.
Money well spent.
Yeah, absolutely.
He called Donald Trump a pussy.
Takes balls.
Do you think if we were to say something offensive, derogatory, or negative about the commander-in-chief,
No,
that the government, like, something would click on?
probably not.
Really? So, like, if we were to do, like, okay, starting next week, Sequel Podcast is now the hate cast towards a certain individual.
We're gonna do the 59 minutes hate.
So every episode will be about how much we hate. And then you don't think we would wind up on any kind of, like, blacklists? No fly lists?
Yeah, you might end up on the no-fly list. I don't think so. I mean, I would like to think that we spend our time looking at
I think the government is our only
Viable.
listening audience.
probably. Like, oh fuck, there's a crazy bastards are on the radio, fucking internet radio again.
They didn't like Cars 3.
Nuke their house. And honestly, on that note, Pirates wasn't really very good either.
It was terrible.
It wasn't very good at all.
It looked like it could have been cool.
I mean, there were a couple of cool shots, a couple of cool little scenes,
Well, like-
but
Homeboy looked good. Javier Bardem.
yeah.
Like, I liked the look of that pirate.
Mhm.
But the movie was bad.
Yeah, the story was hollow.
It looked like they were trying to remake the first one. Not unlike Cars 3.
Pretty much. And
Or every movie this year.
yeah, they're going back to formulas that work. They're trying to make stuff that, they've done before and they know worked.
What are we looking forward to for the rest of the year? Justice League, Thor, Street Toughs.
Street Toughs winning some kind of film festival.
I talked to your dad.
Yeah?
Because Derek's brother, I got him a copy of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and he watched it. He texted me. He's like, the guy that plays the lead biker in your movies at Subway.
He's at Subway?
Who's your dad?
Is that what you said?
No, like, he saw him at Subway.
Oh,
Derek's
okay,
brother
yeah.
saw him at Subway after having seen him in the movie.
Gotcha.
So he, like, spotted an actor out in the wild.
Ah.
I don't think he talked to him or anything like that.
Felt super special.
But I texted your dad, and I was like, oh, how's Subway? And he didn't, like, question how I knew that in any way, shape, or form. He was just
Right.
like, oh, it gets the job done for dinner or something like that.
Right.
He wasn't spooked. But he said he's still working on getting a screening at the Grand Sierra Resort and Casino.
I'm sure it's not that tough.
You know, dude, by the way, speaking of Grand Sierra Resort and Casino, when we were there to bowl, or no, at the bowling alley,
Right.
if you would have left the room
And then come back.
and then come back,
Probably would have been fine.
you would have been totally fine.
I was thinking about doing that, and then I was already pissed off by the time I got downstairs, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to go home. And
Because that lady never came back, and on top of that, people were coming in and out, chilling and hanging, without being questioned or carded. People who looked young. Alex came and showed up.
I knew that was going to fucking happen. I knew I could have done that. But like I said, by the time I got downstairs and had that thought, I was already pissed off, and I got in the car. And we
You're texting me. Shit.
yeah, tell her she's a fucking cunt. If you're listening, you little piece of shit. Fucking, she's probably not even old enough to be in there.
Probably not.
She gonna go in there and tell me I can't fucking sit there. Little biatch.
You were hot.
I was fucking heated big time.
You got tight about that.
I did.
It's okay. It wasn't like the most fun.
Yeah.
Nah.
What else is coming out this year?
Just Thor,
Thor.
Justice League.
I don't know. I'm gonna go home and watch
Serendipity.
the newest
Cars 2.
installment of
Transformers.
yeah.
What are you going to go watch? You're tired. It's time for you to go home.
I am tired.
Last week when you were doing this, you were on point.
I was good to go last
You were
week.
on fleek.
I was on fleek as fuck. Nigga. No, I'm gonna go home and watch what the fuck is the title of the new
TMNT?
You always say random shit and you fuck me up. This random ass fucking movie titles.
Guardians
Fucking
of the
Mila
Galaxy.
Jovovich, man.
Oh, Resident Evil.
Yeah, the newest one. Is it final
Chapter.
chapter before the next last chapter or something?
Before the next one. Before the next
That's
final chapter.
The final chapter before the final
Chapter.
paragraph.
Before the words at the end.
Well, like I said before, you know, fucking fanboy. I would watch that movie whether it was good or not.
Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Garbage.
I'm a fucking Jovovich fanboy. What do you want
I
me to
don't know
say?
why. Look at this guy.
Look at
He's
this guy.
putting diesel into his unleaded tank.
He's like, ah, this will work.
Oh, what's gonna happen?
This guy's gonna fucking crash into his car because he's a douche.
No, what's gonna happen? Who's gonna crash into who? Oh shit.
That's not good.
Did he pour gas into his trunk?
That's what it looks like.
And now he's fucking... What the hell happened there?
Fucking terrorists.
Oh, this guy's stopping in a tunnel. Oh, you know what? Here, let me throw this out at you, okay?
Okay.
This happened.
Go ahead.
And it was weird and strange. So me and Rose are going... We're on Plum. And we're going to A&W. That's on Plum Lane, right?
Love that place.
We go to the drive-thru, and then we just pull into one of the spots. Stay with me, okay?
I'm here.
To eat my food. Now there's a car that comes in and pulls up right in front of us.
In the parking lot right there.
Yeah. So like if we're parked in one spot, this one's parked like
Nose up to you.
not like nose to nose,
Mm-hmm.
but like the spot back facing each other.
Okay.
Now I'm not sure if this car was behind us in the drive-thru. I don't think it was. I think it came in and then parked. And I'm watching, and it's a lady, and she's got like an old flip phone.
Okay. Now it's getting good.
And I'm like, what is going on? Like, it looks like she's filming us. Right?
Okay.
And like, I'm getting like uncomfortable. Right? Because it looks sketchy. And it is sketchy. Because I thought, like, I don't know why this person... Hey, stick with me.
I don't know why this person is filming us.
Right, so I go to leave. And Rose is like, no, go back. I want to talk to this person. So I go and I turn around. Because this is basically a huge empty lot now.
Right.
And we pull up right next to her. And she's holding her phone up at us. Like out the window. And like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You know, like, and she's like, oh, I'm filming the birds. I'm filming the birds. Yet she's got her phone pointed right at us. Right. And Rose is like, I'm going to call the cops, blah, 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 blah. So I back up and Rose like photos the license plate of the car and we pull around the other side and we photo her and she like gives us a peace sign and smiles at us while she follows us the entire time with her phone.
That's weird.
It's super fucking strange. It's not like we fucking like hit a parked car and took off or something like that and this car
Right.
followed us to get our information or something.
Yeah, and you guys were
And it was like a California plate on this car. And it was an old ass flip phone. It's not a smartphone in any way, shape, or form.
that doesn't make any sense.
It was the weirdest fucking thing.
Makes no sense.
Like, is this some kind of scammer that's trying to lay
That-
blame? Like, oh, hey, I saw this license plate on this car. Is it fucking hit my car or something like that?
And that could be probably the best explanation, I think, is that it was some kind of elaborate scam that may or may not take place later.
Right. And, like, I hope that shoe doesn't drop ever.
Yeah, I hope nothing ever comes of that.
Like, it was the weirdest fucking thing. And, like, I knew immediately, like, because when Rose was like, no, I want you to go back and I want to talk to this lady, I knew that we were going to get fucking bullshit from her.
Sure.
Because she's like a crazy fucking bitch. She's that crazy person that is always trying to fucking, like, I've seen these people all the time.
Right.
These people that try and scam whoever for whatever. It blew my mind. And, like, I still think about it.
It is creepy as fuck, though.
Like, why? Like I said, I don't know if she was behind us in the drive-thru and maybe got some kind of idea in her head or something.
Hard to say.
And and we were in the HHR, and I see a lot of white HHRs.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot,
Well, it's a popular fleet vehicle.
I guess. Like, I've never seen it before until we got it, and now suddenly I see it everywhere.
Right.
Like, every time we go somewhere, there's one that we park next to.
Wow.
It's crazy. So that was that. Anything like that ever happened to you?
Not just like that, but I have been followed. Like, I'll be driving along, and from my point of view, I didn't do anything wrong. Like, I didn't cut anybody off. I wasn't driving like an asshole. I didn't, like, brake check anybody. Just probably not driving fast enough or whatever. And somebody behind me wanted to go faster. It's like, okay, whatever, go around. But when I was living with my mom in the park, in the trailer park there, I came home pretty late on a regular basis when I turned 21. And one
Late
time,
being
anywhere between 1 and 4.
AM?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So, I'm on my way home, and I get off the freeway, and there's a car behind me. I'm like, okay, whatever. I didn't think anything of it. I turn, and I turn again, he's still behind me. And then I turn, and he's still behind me. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to take the long way and just see what happens. Guy's still behind me. So now I take the really long way where I've, like, already gone past where I should be going
You made
twice
a
now.
couple circles?
Yeah. And I'm like, this guy's still following me. And then he started getting aggressive when I was, like, just driving him around in circles.
Aggressive being real close?
Like, flashing his headlights
Okay.
at me, fucking hollering out the window for me to get out, and, like, you know, trying to tell me that there's just some shit that I did that he's going to kick my ass for. And it's like, I don't think so, bro. Like, that's not happening. Because if I do stop and you do come after me, I'm probably going to hit you with my car first.
Hit him as a person with your car?
Yeah, fuck yeah. It's all about using the tools you have.
He took off eventually, or you lost him?
He followed me for a good while, and that's how I know he was following me. And then finally, he split, and then I went home.
He got tired of playing games.
I guess. I mean, I have been, you know, tracked or followed like that for shit that I probably did do.
Did I tell you this story last year when it happened? Like, basically the same thing. I was getting off the freeway, getting onto the freeway. I 80 off of... I don't remember where. Off of downtown, somewhere. 80 going west.
Right.
And I think maybe I kind of did an almost of cut off of a car, right?
Okay.
And I think this guy got pissed off and he started following me, and I got off at Rob. And I think since it's been a year, I don't remember exactly all the details. I don't think it was enough because he didn't honk at me or anything like that.
Right.
And I don't think it was enough of a cutoff to be like,
I'm going to kick your ass for that.
right. But it was right there in the middle, like 50% a cutoff, 50% not a cutoff.
Right.
And he followed me to the egg because I think he got into the fast lane
Okay.
and then got back over behind me. And then it, like, through whatever, it's like, I think this guy's following me. And that turnoff onto Rob from the freeway is really funky. Because it goes to the right and it hits a light really quick.
Yeah, like right at the end.
And then there are two lanes that turn left. And I was all the way to the right, and I had this guy follow me into the straight lane. And I fucking booked it over to the left, which is where I was turning anyways. And so he had to kind of, like, get up past me, and we were kind of right next to each other as I was getting over, and he was going this way, and I think like I saw him kind of like yelling at me. But like, what was that guy gonna do?
Yeah, and that's the thing that always bothered me.
Like, what's the point of following a stranger for? Like, I had a quick decision to make to get over, otherwise I was gonna miss my turn. Blah 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 blah, and I happened to cut you off. I'm sorry, you know.
Yeah, it's like if you ran into me and then didn't stop, you know, maybe one of us should chase the other one.
Sure.
But what are you gonna do if you follow somebody to their house? What are you gonna do? You get out and beat them up? It's like, you know how ridiculous that
Right.
sounds?
If there's some car damage,
yeah,
insurance companies can be involved and everything like that. But if nobody's hurt and it's just a cutoff, which happens all the time, sometimes you're in a hurry and you don't want to miss your fucking exit, otherwise you're gonna have to go an hour before you can turn around or whatever.
yeah,
Like, come on. Like, really, are you gonna get out and kick somebody's ass? Because what if they have a gun? What if you have a gun? What if they're bigger? What if you're bigger?
exactly.
Like,
That's why I don't like fucking around with shit like that. Like, I have a gun in the car. That way, nobody bigger than me or smaller than me can kick my ass.
the ultimate equalizer.
Exactly.
All right. Well, with that, I guess we can call that a night.
We'll actually watch similar movies next time. So we'll be on the same page.
I hope, but
We'll see how it goes.
I know I jumped it on you last minute, but I just watched it and I've just been thinking about like how it went. In fact, I probably podcasted the conversation with Kelly when I
Right.
first watched it when we were podcasting. So if anyone wants to go back and listen to the old archive episodes of Sequel Podcast, by all means. With that, I'm at Bonta.
I'm